to use.
I'd like to thank my friend and colleague for his leadership on this and many other issues, really taking up this cause and being a champion for the voiceless. Last month I was in my district in Hawaii, and we traveled all across the state on every island holding town hall meetings on a variety of issues. But one of the meetings and forums that I participated in was at the University of Hawaii Hilo, and it was specifically around this issue of human trafficking, of sex trafficking. And in this small community in Hawaii, many people had gathered. It was a full room, trying to increase their own awareness and share more information about the prevalence of this issue, not just in places in other parts of the world, but in our communities right here at home. And I think that's something that surprises a lot of folks that I talk to, is you read about these human trafficking problems in cities in Asia or other parts of the world, but very rarely do people think that it's happening in their own backyard, in their own hometown, when the reality is that this is a very real issue that exists in far too many of our hometowns and our communities all across the country. In my own home state of Hawaii, girls as young as 11 years old have been recruited from schools, from beaches and malls through an intricate network of sex traffickers. In 2016, last year, 30 cases of human trafficking were reported to the Human Trafficking Hotline in Hawaii. Almost all of them had to do with the exploitation of women for sex and labor, and in 10 of these cases, the individuals targeted were minors. Now, what we know and what is terribly disturbing is how underreported this actually is, that these numbers are not at all representative of the reality that exists in our community, because trafficking is more common than the number of cases reported. Now, too often, those who are victims of, those who are forced into trafficking are charged as criminals, are forced to live with this criminal record for the rest of their lives, never being able to escape the shackles of nonviolent crimes committed in the course of their being victims of human trafficking. Now, this often inhibits them from getting the care and assistance that they really need to be free, to be able to move on with their lives. Our current criminal system is broken in so many ways, and in so many ways perpetuates a cycle of crime, exploitation, and poverty, stripping the most exploited and vulnerable individuals in our society of a fair chance for a new life and healing from unimaginable abuses perpetuated by truly evil criminals. Now, at the local level in states like Hawaii, we've passed legislation that bans sex trafficking and classifies it as a Class A felony, but that's not enough. And that's why I'm so proud to be a co-sponsor of the Trafficking Survivors Relief Act, because it creates this promise of freedom for those survivors from the shackles of their past. It establishes a process to vacate convictions and expunge arrests for those charged with criminal offenses related to human trafficking, finally putting survivors on a path to rehabilitation and healing rather than a life of continued exploitation and abuse. I look forward to continuing to work with my colleagues to get this legislation passed and actually enact this change so it helps those in our communities who need it the most.